This is Venera 4, a Soviet space probe that is about to attempt the first landing on another planet, Venus. At the time, nothing was known about the mysterious planet. Scientists believed it was similar to Earth, with a 1-bar atmosphere and Earth-like temperatures beneath its thick cloud layer. But they had no idea what kind of world this tiny little space probe would be entering. As it struck the atmosphere at 40,000 kilometers per hour, the parachute deployed and the antenna began transmitting data. Initially, the air pressure was comparable to Earth's, and the temperature was roughly 30 degrees. However, when it dropped deeper into the atmosphere, the readings began to go wacky. The atmosphere swiftly increased from 1 to 10, then to 20, and the temperature reached over 200 degrees. The space probe broke open and all communication was lost. The final data it sent back showed an atmosphere 22 times thicker and 250 degrees hotter than Earth. The Soviets became even more determined to reach Venus after learning about its severe conditions. The early space probes had a simple design. The lander was a 1-meter-wide titanium sphere pressurized to around 25 atmospheres. It was equipped with scientific instruments to analyze the atmosphere and a battery for electricity throughout the ascent. Instead of propulsion, the lander relied on drag and parachutes to land safely. However, with Venus's thick atmosphere, this proved to be an issue. The Venera 4 hit the atmosphere like a brick wall, slowing down to a speed of only 18 kilometers per hour, significantly slower than expected. The spacecraft had to spend 90 minutes inside Venus's atmosphere, constantly exposed to heat and pressure, before being crushed. The Soviets recognized their time on Venus was short as they entered its atmosphere. To avoid crushing or melting the lander, they needed to pass through the atmosphere first. To avoid destruction, the Soviets modified the space probe to accelerate its descent through the atmosphere and reach the surface of Venus. They inserted a cord to prevent the parachute from opening, allowing Venera to fall quicker. The parachute was built of a substance that melts at 200 degrees, requiring the probe to be closer to the surface before opening. Engineers overprotected Venera due to uncertainty about surface pressure. The space probe's walls were reinforced twice, allowing it to endure pressure up to 180 atmospheres. The Soviets were prepared to put Venera 7 through hell. As the lander entered the atmosphere, it slowed down and deployed its parachute. The rope effectively accelerated the space probe's fall into Venus's dense atmosphere. With only 3 kilometers to go, the probe's parachute ruptured, causing it to plunge to the ground at 60 kilometers per hour. This was the probe's closest approach to the surface compared to prior flights. The Soviets believed they were facing another failure. After evaluating the data, it was discovered that the lander transmitted a feeble signal for 23 minutes after hitting the surface. Although the lander survived, it was flipped over, resulting in a feeble transmission to Earth via the antenna. Surprisingly, the most recent data it transmitted revealed an astounding 500 degrees Celsius surface temperature. So, engineers developed a simple cooling solution for Venera 8, addressing the main issue of limited time on the surface due to high temperatures. The space probe contained chunks of lithium nitrate, a salt with a high heat of fusion. This is the energy required to transform a solid into a liquid. Heating this substance by 1 degree requires around 2 joules of energy per gram. When it reaches its melting point, the transition from solid to liquid requires nearly 300 joules of energy. As a solid transforms into a liquid, it absorbs and stores significant amounts of heat energy. To prevent heat from damaging the electrical components, heat-absorbing blocks were installed inside the lander. Venera 8 successfully landed on Venus and lived for an hour on the surface thanks to this effective technique. The Soviets had finally perfected the Venus landing technique, but nobody could imagine what this bizarre planet looked like. So it was up to Venera 9 to capture the first images of Venus. The lander underwent another thorough change. Instead of parachutes, Venera 9 used a huge air brake and landing legs to reduce speed and absorb impact. The camera system was the most essential aspect of the Venera 9. The lander included 2 movable cameras on either side, capable of capturing a 360-degree view of the surroundings. Designing a camera that could withstand the high pressure and temperature on Venus was another difficulty. This was the very first photo taken on Venus. Later missions enhanced the cameras, resulting in higher quality color photos. A microphone was installed on board Venera 14. The audio below captures the probe landing on the surface and an instrument digging into it. The Soviets landed on Venus 8 times, returning magnificent photographs and scientific data about the enigmatic planet. After 50 years, we still haven't replicated this achievement. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more updates.